Hello YouTube, my name is Myles Anderson. I'm a professional joke explainer, and today I'm explaining the jokes of Tony Hinchcliffe, one of the best comedians working today.
Make some noise for Tony Hinchcliffe!
So this is like a cool, like a little floating light bulb show here.
Heck yeah! Wow.
There he is.
Exciting. Fuck yeah. A little bit out of breath. Just got in a wrestling match with my agent. Literally. Not even a joke. Fuck yeah.
Risky riff off the top there. Just trying to loosen up the crowd, and the crowd is tight.
How's everybody doing? You guys excited? Good. Exciting times. Love it. Been living in LA for a few years. It's crazy. Saw a used condom on the sidewalk the other day. It's pretty wild, right? Made me wonder, like, how could somebody be so dirty to leave a used condom on the sidewalk, yet so clean to use a condom? You know? Like, where do you draw the line in your morals? Like, oh, I don't want to catch herpes, but I'll leave this syphilis grenade here for a baby to trip over. The baby could trip over that.
All right, so that little joke there was about the contrast between having a dirty condom on the side of the road. Obviously, the joke is that how could someone also who leaves a dirty condom on the road be so careful as to have protection during sex? Yeah, I think that's very funny, and it conjures a funny scene. Obviously, of a dirty condom. They look kind of funny, like little jellyfish there on the road. It is a little bit distracting how tight this crowd is, and also the camera seems to be floating around like the alien cameras from War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Hopefully this camera can find a landing pad soon and just settle right down, because it is making me slightly motion sick.
Adult woman could trip over that. She lands the wrong way. She could get pregnant. I mean, she'd have to get pregnant pretty easily, you know? Already have like 20 kids. Have some kind of nickname from her friends, like fetal juice.
Beetlejuice, that's a funny word to play on the movie Beetlejuice, which of course is part of the Beetlejuice cinematic universe, which launched this year and will have 6 to 10 subsequent sequels. So even though this stand-up comedy is from a while ago, Tony could already see the direction of that movie franchise. So very smart, very funny reference.
Yeah. It's exciting. I like you guys. It's crazy times right now. It's good that you guys are here enjoying a show away from your smartphones. They control us now. You know, we can't stop looking at them all the time. It's like everything. Like dick pics are a thing. You guys all know what dick pics are. It hasn't always been that way. It's because of technology that you even know what that is. 10 years ago, you wanted to show a girl a picture of your dick, you had to carry a picture of your dick in your pocket with you. You'd have to pull it out at some point and go, hey, this is my dick. And you'd have to put it back in your pocket.
So that's a very funny joke about the absurdity of having to present a dick pic that you have in your pocket because smartphones aren't available yet. So that's a very funny scene to imagine, pulling a penis picture out of your pocket when your live penis is so close to where a picture of your penis is. It would be so much easier to whip your penis out really quick and just show them a true example of what the picture represents. So a very funny joke there. And there's a little bit of it sounds like a constant wind in the background of this club as well. So really difficult taping situation here.
Probably have to be a Polaroid picture, right? You have to hold out the camera. Get it? Because you couldn't get that picture developed at your local drugstore. Remember that? You used to have to get pictures developed from a human being. So it'd have to be a Polaroid, right? You have to stick it out there, hope that you got the right angle, wait for it, right? Shake it, maybe even blow on your own dick. Just to know if you got the shot. But now dick pics are flying around everywhere, all in the universe. A lot of you have them on your phones right now. Just random dicks. This is fun. Truth is,
That's a funny joke he said when he said, "This is fun." That is a funny joke because this does not look as fun as he says it is.
guys, I don't even want to be a comedian. Yeah, truth is, I want to be a movie star. Unfortunately, nobody right now in Hollywood's casting for a 14-year-old villain. But when they do, it's just going to be me. Saw a great movie the other day about a sniper. Yeah, it was the Kurt Cobain documentary. 100% headshots, this guy. Fuck yeah. Like the reaction to that. Good Burbank afternoon reaction.
Oh, right. So, wow. So there's a lot there. He makes a self-deprecating joke about him looking quite young, which is true. When this was taped, he did look quite young. Obviously, he's gotten older and really, really red in recent years, so he looks quite a bit different than he did. And then he makes a Kurt Cobain joke about Kurt Cobain shooting himself in the head, which obviously is very dark, which is shocking, which is therefore funny. But this crowd is so kind of frightened about how this camera is floating around above their heads. They're not really giving it up too much here. And Tony goes to his phone here just to check a couple texts and see what his buddies are up to.
Let's talk about it. What else? A lot of stuff's happening in the world right now. A lot of racial tension, right? It's crazy. It's so sad. Big church shooting last week. Unbelievable. Of course, every time I've ever been in a church, I was hoping somebody would shoot me in the head. But, all right. Audience definitely doesn't like the dark stuff. Let's go, let's switch it back and go full Christian material for you guys.
Good acknowledgement there. Very masterful to acknowledge that the crowd did not enjoy that dark humor. So at this point, it's probably good to try some face comedy or some name comedy or even some famous Brian Callen body comedy. All of this different kinds of comedy styles, of course, I discuss in my masterclass series. If you guys are interested in that, please check it out. I can show you how to save a situation like this. If I was personally in a situation like this with a low energy crowd, I'd go in very high energy. I would be doing maybe a dance. I would start juggling. I would start asking people in the front row what they do for a living and if they're dating and that they should fuck. Those sorts of things really get crowds going. So check it out, guys.
Fun stuff. This would be one of the parts where they edit to another part. It's fun. So this part right here isn't going to be in anything. This is just for you 25 people.
That's a funny joke because we are watching that part right now.
Yeah, anything can happen right now. Like if you want to yell or fart or anything, right now is the time. Okay. I'm excited about things though. I really am.
That is also saying I'm excited about things. When he's clearly not quite very excited.
Life is good. Comedy's a fun job. It's not the best job in the world. Best job in the world goes to boxing ring announcer Michael Buffer. Mr. Let's Get Ready to Rumble. This guy gets paid $1 million every time he says those words. That's a real thing. $1 million. Unbelievable, right? Gets jetted all around the world to sold out arenas that he doesn't have to sell a ticket for. Gets handed a card that he doesn't have to write. He just reads it. This guy's in this corner, that guy's in that corner. Let's get ready to rumble. Go fuck yourselves. Takes a 3-month vacation after that.
That is funny because that does sound like a very good job, but it is not as good as being a stand-up comedian or as important. Obviously, being a stand-up is the most great and important job you could possibly do. So don't listen to Tony here. He's just joking.
The only person more impressive to me than Michael Buffer is the UFC ring announcer. His name is Bruce Buffer. Is that a coincidence? No. They're brothers. Oh, they're the Buffer brothers.
So this is some name comedy here. This is good. He's getting them back.
Ring announcer game. Bruce is even more impressive to me than Michael, because Bruce Buffer's big catchphrase, get ready for it, it's time. That's the entire catchphrase. It's almost like he was looking at his already successful older brother going, let's get ready to rumble. And Bruce is like, dude, why all the hard work? Why are you putting in 15 seconds of work when you need to only put in a good 7 seconds? What I want to know is there a third Buffer brother? You know, the loser, youngest Buffer brother that never made it. You know, he's just out there struggling. You're going to know it if you ever run into him sometime. You're just going to hear it. You're going to hear, welcome to Chili's. You get weird, that part where he has to announce the heights and the weights of the people that eat at Chili's, you know? Not the healthiest clientele. Standing 5'1", weighing 625 pounds, the diabetic dragon. Anyway, fuck yeah, a bunch of Chili's fans in this room. I like that. It's a good energy here. This might be one of my finer pieces of art ever.
So this is obviously a funny joke about the restaurant Chili's. Chili's is a very funny place, and an announcer announcing people at Chili's is a very funny scene. So that's the joke there, is just kind of the funny situation that he's created here.
I'm excited about it. Really excited. Fuck yeah. It's fun. Anyway, let's talk some more. I'm a little upset right now. No, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to back out and do something else. You guys wouldn't like that. You've already groaned at all the other dark stuff, so let me see if I have any clean jokes for you people that I could do.
He's scrolling through his phone here. Again, just checking the group chat, telling him that he's not very happy right now. I mean, this entire video is funny that it would be uploaded. Obviously, Comedy Dynamics has some sort of feud with Tony Hinchcliffe.
You guys are a really fun crowd. I really like this. It's like I'm totally having the time of my life right now. Let's talk about it. Okay, you guys would probably like that one. Let's do that one. You guys are a cheesy crowd. You like cheesy jokes, right? Yeah, there you go. Fuck yeah. First applause break of my set. Basically insulting yourselves. I love it. It's great. Fuck yeah. I love smoking pot. Any pot smokers here? Fuck no, there's not. Absolutely not.
That's a good one to get the crowd going. So that's a classic. You guys smoke weed. You guys drinking tonight. You know, who here likes to party? These are great lines for getting a crowd going. This crowd is quite stiff. I think they're cold from the wind that's blowing in the background. And again, I think that this camera is making them nervous. They don't know if the camera's going to land on their head. But Tony is handling this very well and professionally by commenting on how awful this situation is.
Next time, smoke pot before going to see a comedy show. People will make things more fun. I don't mind if you don't smoke pot, but just have a good excuse. Bad excuses are the worst. Like, I can't stand when people say, I don't like to smoke pot because it makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack. That's exactly why I love smoking pot. That's exciting. Thinking you're having a heart attack and not actually having one, that's awesome. A lot of people pay a lot of money to go skydiving and whitewater rafting so that they can get their heart racing as fast as I can on my couch watching House of Cards. I love smoking pot.
So that's a funny joke there about smoking pot, and that Tony likes it because of the anxiety it creates, which is often a common excuse for not wanting to smoke marijuana. And again, The crowd doesn't really give it up, but Tony is not giving up, which is important to remember.
The other day I went to my doctor's appointment high. Yeah, that takes fucking balls. Actually, I smoked pot and then remembered I had a doctor's appointment and didn't know whether to cancel or not. I went through with it. A few minutes in, doctor's not saying anything about it. I started thinking to myself, wow, I've gotten really good at getting high. To fool your own doctor. It's Jedi level pot smoking. A few minutes later, doctor's still not saying anything. I start thinking to myself, wow, my doctor sucks. This guy can't tell that I'm high, then what else is this idiot missing? Start thinking to myself, what if he's high? And he doesn't want me to know that he's high. And we're in the exact same position right now. At the end of the appointment, he never said anything about it to me. He just wrote me another prescription for medical marijuana, and I was out of there. It's almost like a perfectly written joke or something.
So a very, very funny joke from Tony about the jokes about the paranoia that weed creates. It is, as a comedian, he made a slight mistake here. He's doing weed jokes for an audience that seems like it's a bit more of an Oxycontin crowd. So it is important to do a little bit of research beforehand, before you do a set.
What else? This is fun.
Obviously, this is the second Tony Hinchcliffe video I've done on this channel. The first one was so much better when he was using racial slurs and attacking the Chinese. So obviously, this kind of comedy it was not as successful as his later comedy.
They just built a place right around the corner from where I live called Just Food for Dogs. This is a place where you take your dogs so they can get a restaurant-style meal while you sit there and watch. Which means there's a chef right around the corner from where I live that only cooks for dogs. Which means there's a chef right around the corner from where I live that is so fucking terrible at what he does for a living. You have any idea how shitty of a chef you have to be to get out of the human being game? To where you're like, fuck these opinions. Give me that animal that eats anything. This guy's so bad at cooking food that he once cooked for one of his buddies, and his pal tried it, and he's like, dude, I wouldn't feed this shit to my dog. And the other guy's like, well, I'll show you.
So, this comedy set, I will admit at this point, is not going well for Tony. Not because Tony isn't absolutely hilarious, but it is completely and utterly the crowd's fault here. But you can see what happens to a comedian when the show is going well. You can physically see his body is starting to break down and decompose. He's losing energy, he's leaning on the mic stand, and he's exhaling gases from his body, from all the cells that are starting to die. So this is quite a dangerous situation. If he doesn't win them back, hopefully soon he may physically die here. So let's see how he can handle it, but I think he will make it.
What else? Let's just keep plowing through it. This is great. I love you guys. These are adorable. I so wish this was a crowd work show where I could just make fun of all of you one after the other, but you don't have a camera on you. So I'm just gonna keep doing material right down the gullet.
That's such a funny thing to say. You can do crowd work without having a camera on people. Honestly, people generally value their privacy. You should be able to do that. In fact, most comedy is that nowadays. You can see why it changed from prepared material to crowd work, because prepared material often, 90% of the time, doesn't work.
You have no idea what I'm even talking about right now. I'm loving this. The looks on your guys' faces are priceless. Wondering exactly how much longer you have to sit here the next hour or so, right? Okay, now you just stare at me like I'm not telling the truth. Very good. This is, again, great. You guys are just completely turning on me right when I like you the most.
So that's, again, this is young Tony. He's not quite sure what he's doing. The best thing to do in a bad show situation like this is just pretend everything is good and continue. we're taught that in the United States, it's part of sort of the national culture is no matter how bad things get, pretend it's okay and just keep doing bits. That's the best way to just sort of move forward as a comedian and a society. Just laugh and say we're having a great time and move on. But Tony is obviously quite disturbed here.
Okay. Let's do another jokey pie, shall we? All right.
He's gonna do it.
I'm all about equality. Racial tensions are high right now, and I'm all about equality. That's why I ask you this. Why don't black people have their own color Band-Aid yet? I'll let you think about that for a second. It's a good question. It's a great question. I never wondered it until last week. I'm doing a show. There's a cool black guy in the front row with a Band-Aid across his forehead. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It hit me right then and there. They only make Band-Aids in the color of white people. If a black person gets a cut, they have to become a little bit white. It's time for the black Band-Aid. We have a black president. It's time for the black Band-Aid.
Great joke there. And he sits in he's very comfortable with he's not comfortable with the silence. He is clearly very uncomfortable with the silence. But, the great joke about Band-Aid colors, obviously it was recorded a long time ago. They do have black Band-Aids now, and they're my preferred Band-Aid. It's nice to feel just, like I'm part of the community.
Okay. What else? This is fun. They're gonna have to edit the shit out of this set. It's gonna be so funny. I've said so many ums and fucks and everything. It's just completely blown out.
It's very funny that he's talking about how this show has to be edited. He's kind of doing a meta commentary on the recording itself. And then obviously uploaded to YouTube was the full recording, utterly raw for us to digest here. So very brave of him to consent to this video being up here unedited for us all to see. But it's kind of like it's important to see something like this. It's like a plane crash investigation, to prevent things like this happening again. It's important to study what went wrong here. When I had stand-up clips, if I ever had a show that went like this, I would make sure to have my legal team shut down any evidence of it, and I would have anyone involved threatened with the MCAs, because it's not great to have stuff like this out on the internet, but obviously Tony doesn't care.
It's really great. Again, you guys have no idea. Half of you aren't even looking at me. This is really exciting. I'm so used to performing in front of live audiences, so this is a little bit different for me, what we're doing here today. They said they're gonna add a laugh track, they're gonna add laughs to this. No, they really are. This is a production. I don't know if any of you even speak English. I don't know exactly what's going on here. But I really wish they just would have added the laughs during the set. I wish they just had speakers, or perhaps just Skyped this to an actual audience that is interested and recorded their laughs and played it.
Yeah, these people who don't laugh at Tony Hinchcliffe are fucking idiots. He's one of the best comedians working today, and these people obviously don't understand this. I hope that some of the audience members who are watching this are watching this episode of Jokes Explained so that they understand the jokes, because obviously none of these people understand this. They need a joke explainer in this crowd right now, explaining, sort of like a sign language interpreter off to the side, just explaining each of these jokes so they understand it, because obviously these people really don't know what's going on here.
During this, instead of just adding it later. Is any of this making sense to any of you? Okay. Fuck yeah, this is a really weird crowd. I love this. Really exciting. How do I close a party like this? Okay. You guys wouldn't get that, you wouldn't get that, you wouldn't get that. Let's do this. Let's spoon feed you one right down the middle and see if this hits at all. Because the theme of this set. You, sir, what are you staring at right now? What were you just looking at right then? One of the light bulbs, right? Did you just notice those now? Probably. You can't even commit to a yes on that. So probably. You don't even know if you noticed him yet or not. You're just staring at it right now. Are you getting this guy with that camera? So probably. Do you remember whether you noticed?
So this is great. He's going into the crowd work, which is a really good response to a crowd being a little bit strange. And he talks about a different crowd, a camera looking at this guy. Obviously, when you have a camera that floats like this, they probably spent most of the money on the floating camera, and they don't have a camera focused on this guy's head. But Tony's doing great here, just kind of doing a little bit of crowd work, trying to get the crowd warmed up so he can start his set.
Before?
Well, if I did, then I would have said yes to that.
If you did, then what?
I would have said yes to that.
Right. But maybe you don't remember. Maybe it took a little more time for you to think back. So you really just don't know whether you noticed it or not. But you certainly re-noticed it at some point during all that. You have any hanging lights at your place? No, not like a chandelier.
No. It's so fascinating.
Probably. I really like it. It's almost like, it's pretty interesting for a guy that hasn't been able to answer a question. How many light bulbs are going off over your head? Like, it seems like you'd have a lot of great ideas, but you can't even answer yes or no questions about blatant things. Guys, I had so much fun with you here this evening. I'm really and truly. I had a blast here. I had so much fun. I made fun of you a lot. I called you basically a dumb audience. I called you sort of stupid. I said that half of you weren't paying attention. But I really, that's what I like. A lot of comedians, they like big, crazy live audiences that laugh and respect the comedians and listen to them word for word and don't panic when it gets too edgy. But I really like you guys because you're
he
humbling.
hates these people.
You take a guy like me who...
So it's not a great idea to let the audience know you very much hate them. You kind of want to keep it light at a comedy show, but it is funny that he is telling them that he hates them because you wouldn't normally do that. And so it's kind of subverting expectations a little bit, which is very funny. So that is a great bit there.
Tours all around the world and writes on some of the funniest things, and you really just brought me back to reality. I almost feel like one of you, like maybe I should join you after this. Like maybe I should just sit in the middle of this audience and show you guys how it's done. Thank you so much. Good night.
Very good. So funny. Well handled. So that is it's a funny wrap up there. That is a good thing to do as a comedian, is if the show doesn't go your way, tell people that you are actually a huge success and that they should go fuck themselves. That's a very great move to do, and I highly recommend you guys do that if you're ever in that situation. Wow, that was really cool watching early Tony Hinchcliffe, and it gives you great insight into how he became the huge success that he is today. If you guys liked this video and want to see more like this, please join our Discord. We've got a Patreon you can join for free, and check out our masterclass series as well. We've got all sorts of advice on how to handle situations like that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back with more of these videos very soon in the very near future, right around the corner. See you soon.